Okay, so now that we've looked at the homepage for the OLS, we're going to take time to dive into each of the big four platforms that I mentioned. So we're going to start with the OHS, which stands for the Online High School, and it is your connection, your bridge to your students. Okay, this is where your students find their course materials, their course content, all of their assignments and their due dates, the grade book, and their instructional plan. So, the instructional plan is our running document that keeps up with not only due dates, but what content they should be doing, what they should be working on, the standards that it correlates with, keeping up with all the recordings of your live class connect sessions, and it's just kind of their map to the whole course. So, that's the instructional plan. Another thing to point out is you can also use the OHS to view as a student. Okay, you can view what the students will see in your own class, but you can also use it to see what they see in their other courses, which is extremely helpful when you're going through your homeroom students trying to help them, figure out their courses. So that's very helpful. And then this is also a good time to mention that we do in the 2017-2018 school year have a set of asynchronous goals. Asynchronous means that it's not in live sessions. So these would be our OHS goals. So as you get started, I know you're new and I know you're probably stressing, but as you get started, you'll probably start hearing conversations with your mentor and your leads about, what our goals are and how we're striving to meet them. So here we are at the OLS homepage that we just discussed, and we're going to focus on diving into the OHS to a specific course. So I'm going to go on the left-hand side to my classes. I'm then going to choose which class that I want to enter. And your student's homepage will look like this too. They'll have all six of their classes or however many courses they have. They'll have all of them listed, and so they will just simply click to enter your course. Immediately when your OHS opens, you're taken to the home page. Okay, the home page, the students will see their different modules in a line up at the top. And I want to point out new teachers and veteran teachers as well. If your student does not have the arrow pointing down, they're not going to see what's available to them. And that's the same for looking at the class announcements down here, for looking at the class updates. So we try hard to remind our students at the beginning of the year and throughout the year to make sure that they've got it open so that they can see all of the portions of their OHS. So just an FYI little tidbit to help your students out. Because if they accidentally click that, all of a sudden they will not see any of the announcecements that you're posting. Okay, so speaking of announcements, here's where you can go to create announcements. You can personalize them with your student name. You can put them in specific orders. You can conditionally release them. You can plan them ahead and set them to not release until a later date. You can add your GIFs, your memes, your videos, lots of really cool stuff in the announcements. It's a great, great, great tool to engage your students and just to, personalize your OHS because this is essentially your classroom and you don't want it to just be as plain and boring as the shell is automatically set up. All right, you want to personalize it, make it your own, and make the students feel like you are trying to connect with them. So that's announcements. Up at the top, content is going to be exactly what it sounds like. This is where all your content is housed. Okay, different courses, different teams, different content groups, different departments, different schools. Everybody kind of has their own way of doing this. So you're going to rely a lot on your content members that are already in your group as to how they're working on setting it up for the year. But you find your modules that you've created, your quizzes, your assessments, your labs, your constructed responses. Everything is found in the content. Again, you set due dates. You can conditionally release items to not open unless they make a certain grade or unless they've completed another assignment. So this is all located in the content. All right, progress is also really neat. It shows you basically a running list of all the students in your class and how much progress they've made. And this is going to be really important in this upcoming year, is to be able to check your students' progress, because we are now going to be looking at their progression throughout the whole semester and giving them points and credits and percentages based upon their progress. So this will be an important tool for that. Grades, I'm not going to click on it though because it gives you student information that I want to keep private. So grades, this is also, of course, obviously another super important tool. Grades, you can either enter grades, which is where your grade book is housed, or you can manage grades. Okay, manage grades allows you, it basically shows you the categories for all of your assignments. So you're going to have, for example, this is divided into coursework, which counts as 40% of my student semester average, assessments, which are 40%, and then the SLO post test was 20%. So from this tab or from the manage grades section, you can go in, you can edit the items, you can view statistics, which is important. If you have assessments in the OHS, viewing the statistics are very important for looking at your data. And then the setup wizard allows you, you will do this if it's not already done for you. You'll need to go in here at the beginning of the year to set up the weights of your grade book, how to release and finalize the grades. Release means make it available for the students to see, etc., etc. But you will receive very specific instructions from your specific school about how to use the setup wizard. A couple more things, reports. This is also going to be important if you need to pull a report that includes all of the student information, all of their student ID numbers, their grades, how they're doing, etc. So you would go here and you request whatever report you would like to be pulled. And these are massive reports, so they do take a little bit of time to download. Library, this is another neat tool. The teacher LOR is basically an internal storage for the OHS. So if you make an assessment or you make a quiz or you would like to upload a whole module into the LOR, it is then available for future use. So for example, one teacher might make a quiz, upload it into the LOR, and then be able to share it to her team members. And then lastly are the tools. So you can use the tool drop-down menu to look at the assignments. If your course is using discussions, you can click straight there. You can go straight to your announcements, and then groups. You can use grouping to make your announcements easier. So if you wanted to group below level, basic level, proficient, advanced, and then when you went to do your announcements or even to send out a specific assignment, your groups are already there. You can click here to pull up a whole list of your class, including the students that have withdrawn, which can become important if you need to go back and look at any sort of grades. Manage quizzes takes you to what I was just at with the manage grades under the gradebook, where you can edit your quizzes and assessments. So those are the main, and like I said, I know this is extremely brief, but I'm trying to keep this as short and simple as it can be, because you're going to get more detailed information as you go, especially as far as content is related by your content team. So this is the OHS, where you find the content, progress, grades, reports, the LOR library, and then your list of tools, including your class list, are all found here.